Welcome to Simply Explained English, the podcast where we make learning English easy and fun. I am Lisa.
And I am Eric. Whether you're a student, a professional, or just someone who loves learning English, this podcast is for you.
So, let's get started and make English simple and enjoyable together. What are the words today, Eric?
The first word today is pathetic. Then we will continue with to interrupt and to rip somebody off. Then to be stuck with somebody and something. And the final one is when pigs fly.
Let's start with the first word, Eric.
The first word today is pathetic.
Pathetic?
Pathetic. Pathetic is an adjective that means very bad or inadequate, often in a way that makes you feel pity or disgust. It's used to describe something or someone that is so weak or unsuccessful that it makes you feel sorry for them or annoyed.
Now, let's give some example sentences. Eric, can you start?
Sure, here's my example. His excuse for being late was pathetic. It means his reason for being late was very poor or weak and not believable.
Here's my example. The team's performance in the game was pathetic. It means that the team played so badly that it was sad or frustrating to watch.
That's right. And remember, it's a strong word that can be hurtful, so be careful when using it about people. Now let's hear a dialogue using this word. Ready, Lisa?
Ready.
Did you see that new movie everyone's talking about?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was pathetic.
Really? Why did you think it was pathetic?
The story was weak, and the acting was so bad it was pathetic. I can't believe it got good reviews.
Wow, that's disappointing. I guess I'll skip it then.
Let's talk about the dialogue. Why did Mark think the movie was pathetic, Eric?
Mark thought the movie was pathetic because the story was weak and the acting was very bad.
Exactly. Do you think it's okay to call things pathetic, Eric?
Well, it's a strong word. We should be careful using it, especially about people's efforts.
I agree. It can hurt feelings if we're not careful. Have you ever seen something you thought was pathetic?
I once read a book with such a poor story that I thought it was pathetic, but I try not to use the word often.
That's a good approach. Do you think there are better words to use instead of pathetic sometimes?
Yes, we could say poor, weak, or disappointing if we want to be less harsh. Those are good alternatives. It's important to choose our words carefully to express our opinions without being too negative.
Great point. Well, that's all we have time for with this word. Remember, listeners, pathetic is a strong word for something very poor or inadequate. It's a powerful word, so use it wisely. Now, let's move on to our next word.
The next word is to interrupt. To interrupt. To interrupt means to stop someone from speaking or doing something by suddenly saying or doing something yourself. For example, please don't interrupt me while I'm talking. It means that you should not stop me from talking by saying something yourself.
Exactly. When someone is speaking and another person starts talking, it interrupts the first person. Now, I will give the second example sentence. The phone call interrupted our meeting.
It means that the phone call stopped our meeting for a moment.
Right. The phone rang, and because of that, the meeting was stopped for a while. Now, let's use interrupt in a short dialogue.
Our characters are Anna and Mike. They are talking in an office.
Mike, can I ask you a question?
Sure, Anna. What is it?
I don't want to interrupt your work, but I need help with this report.
No problem, Anna. You're not interrupting. How can I help?
Great dialogue, Eric. Now, let's talk about the word interrupt in the dialogue. Why did Anna say she didn't want to interrupt Mike's work?
Anna said she didn't want to interrupt Mike's work because she didn't want to stop him from working by asking her question.
Right. And why did Mike say Anna wasn't interrupting?
Mike said Anna wasn't interrupting because he didn't mind stopping his work to help her.
Exactly. Sometimes people don't mind being interrupted, especially if they can help someone else.
That's right. Sometimes interruptions might not be important, so we don't mind them.
Yes, that's true. Well, I think we explained interrupt fair enough.
I agree, Lisa. So, to our listeners, remember that to interrupt means to stop someone from speaking or doing something by suddenly saying or doing something yourself.
All right, let's move on to our next word. What's the next word, Eric?
The next word is to rip somebody off.
To rip somebody off.
To rip somebody off.
To rip somebody off is a phrasal verb. It means to cheat someone by charging them too much money for something or by selling them something that is not worth the price.
Here's an example sentence. The shop ripped me off when they charged me $50 for a simple t-shirt.
It means the shop charged too much money for the t-shirt, making me feel cheated.
Here's another example. Don't buy that phone from him. He will rip you off. It means that if you buy the phone from him, he will charge you too much money or sell you a bad phone, so you will be ripped off.
Great. Now, let's have a short dialogue using the phrase to rip somebody off. In this dialogue, we'll have two friends, Anna and Tom, talking at a coffee shop.
I can't believe how much they charged for my coffee. They totally ripped me off.
Really? How much did you pay?
I paid $20 for a small cup. It's such a rip-off.
That's crazy. You should complain about it.
Now, let's talk about our dialogue. Lisa, what do you think about Anna's situation?
Well, based on the dialogue, Anna feels that the price of the coffee is too high and not fair. She thinks the coffee shop ripped her off.
Do you think calling a price a rip-off is common?
Yes, it's common when people feel something is too expensive or not worth the price. It's a way to express that they feel cheated. Have you ever felt ripped off, Eric?
Yes, once I bought a ticket for a concert and the seat was very bad. Even though I paid a lot of money, I felt really ripped off. How about you?
Yes, I have. Once I bought a phone case online and it was very cheap and broke quickly. I was ripped off because it wasn't worth the money I paid. What can people do to avoid being ripped off?
They can compare prices before buying something, read reviews, and make sure to buy from trusted sellers. Do you have any other tips?
Yes, asking friends for recommendations can also help. Anything else you want to add about our phrase today?
Just remember that to rip somebody off means to cheat someone by charging too much or selling something of low quality. It's a phrasal verb, so use it with an object. And that's it for the word to rip off.
Okay, could you explain the next word, Eric?
The next word is to be stuck with somebody or something.
To be stuck with somebody or something.
To be stuck with somebody or something.
To be stuck with somebody or something is a phrase. It means dealing with someone or something you do not want to, but cannot change.
Here's an example sentence. I am stuck with my little brother this weekend because my parents are away. It means I have to care for my little brother this weekend, and I cannot change this situation even if I don't want to.
Here's another example. We are stuck with this old car until we can afford a new one. It means that We have to use this old car because we don't have the money to buy a new one, even if we don't want to use the old car.
Now, let's briefly discuss some grammar related to be stuck with somebody or something. This phrase uses the verb to be and the past participle stuck. You can use it with both people and things.
Now, let's have a short dialogue using the phrase to be stuck with somebody or something. In this dialogue, we'll have two friends, Jake and Emily, talking at a coffee shop.
I can't believe we are stuck with this boring project for the whole month.
I know. I wish we could work on something more exciting.
At least we're stuck with each other. That makes it a bit better.
True, it's good to have a friend when you're stuck with a boring task.
Lisa, what do you think about Jake and Emily's situation?
Well, based on the dialogue, Jake and Emily are working on a project that they find boring. They have to continue working on it even though they don't want to. What do you think they can do to make it more interesting?
I think they can try to find fun ways to complete the tasks or take breaks to keep their energy up. Do you think it's always bad to be stuck with something or someone, Lisa?
Not always. Sometimes being stuck with someone, like a friend, can improve a bad situation. Have you ever felt stuck with something?
Yes, once I was stuck with cleaning the house all weekend because I had guests coming over. It was tiring, but I felt good once it was done. How about you?
Yes, I have. I was once stuck with a broken laptop for a week before I could get it repaired. It was frustrating, but I managed. Do you think there are ways to avoid feeling stuck with something?
Yes, planning ahead and asking for help can sometimes make a big difference. Also, staying positive and finding solutions can help. Is there anything else you want to add about our phrase today, Lisa?
Just remember that to be stuck with somebody or something means you have to deal with someone or something you do not want to, and you cannot change it. It uses the verb to be and the past participle, stuck. And that's it for the word. Now, time to explain the last word.
The last word is when pigs fly.
When pigs fly.
When pigs fly. When pigs fly is an idiom. It means something that will never happen. Pigs cannot fly, so it is used to talk about things that are impossible to happen. Here's an example sentence. He will clean his room when pigs fly. It means he will never clean his room because pigs cannot fly, so it is impossible.
Here's another example. She'll start waking up early when pigs fly. It means that she will never start waking up early because it's something that will not happen.
Now, let's have a short dialogue using the phrase when pigs fly. In this dialogue, we'll have two friends, Mike and Sarah, talking at a park.
Do you think Jim will ever stop being late to work?
When pigs fly, he's always late.
Yeah, I guess you're right. What about Tina learning to cook?
When pigs fly, she hates cooking.
Now, let's talk about our dialogue. Lisa, what do you think about Jim's situation?
Well, based on the dialogue, Jim is always late to work, and Sarah thinks he can't change. She uses when pigs fly to say that. What do you think about Tina's cooking?
It seems like Tina really dislikes cooking, so Sarah thinks she can't learn. That's why she says, when pigs fly. Have you ever used this idiom, Lisa?
Yes, I have. I once said my friend would start loving homework when pigs fly because he really hates doing it. How about you?
Yes, I've used it too. I told my brother he would start keeping his room clean when pigs fly because he never cleans it. Do you think this idiom is funny?
Yes, it is funny because we imagine something impossible, like pigs flying. It makes the sentence more interesting. What do you think?
I agree. It adds humor to the conversation and makes it clear that something is very unlikely to happen. Do you know any other idioms like this?
Yes, another similar idiom is when hell freezes over. It also means something that will never happen. Anything else you want to add about our idiom today?
Just remember that when pigs fly is an idiom used to describe something impossible. It's a fun way to say that something will never happen.
Okay, Eric, that wraps up today's episode of Simply Explained English. If you enjoyed our podcast, don't forget to subscribe and like our channel.
Remember, language learning is a journey, and we're all in the same boat. Until next time, keep simplifying and keep learning. Bye.
Bye-bye.